In this video, I'd like to go over how to get a good rotation of skills. I'm going to start with how to learn what skills to use in what order. You will do this by learning what they do and not just the skills themselves as they appear on your hotbars, your quick bars, but you'll find very important information by looking in your discipline, seeing what passive benefits you get. It is not just the new skills and stronger skills you get as you level, it is the passive benefits that you will get in your I hate to call it a skill tree, they're not skill trees anymore, but within your discipline, and also sometimes utility choices. And the purpose of this is that people have the very understandable tendency to simply use their strongest skills whenever they're on cooldown, just try to burn down the enemy as fast as they can, and you generally will actually do less DPS that way and use more resources. For instance, on the gunslinger, you can see my portrait here, and to the right of the portrait is my red health bar. You run out of that, you're dead. And under that is a yellow bar. My resource here on the gunslinger is energy. If I go below 50% energy, the regen rate is very, very bad. Scoundrels and gunslingers, operatives, snipers, they go below 50% energy, and it becomes a very, very slow regen rate, and there's not a lot you can do. So you want to avoid that, and you also really want to use your skills to their maximum potential to get the most damage. In this case, since I'm a pure DPS class, I want to get the most DPS I can and use the least amount of energy that I can. So just looking at tooltips for the skills themselves, you'll see what they do, but that's not always the whole story. Like, for instance, sabotage charge. I'm a swtor gunslinger. This discipline, I thought this would be a good one to show because it's a very, very energy-hungry discipline. So it's very easy to run out of energy on this. Its strength is AoE damage, so I'll be showing AoE skills. In the next video that I make, I will actually go through this and show you a sequence of rotation of skills that probably isn't 100% optimized, but it's pretty good. And if you just look at the tooltip now, it tells you basically what this does. And as you level up, you'll see the numbers for damage increase. But what that doesn't show you, what this tooltip does not show you, are the other benefits that occur to this ability within the leveling process in the discipline. So I'm going to open this middle button up here. This is your combat proficiencies. This is where you will find your disciplines and your utilities. It's that middle button up on the top there, a circle with the inverted triangle. And for instance, you get that very early. It's sort of the heart of the swtor, is the sabotage charge. And I'll see here that at level 20, it actually drops a couple other charges. It's not just the single sabotage charge anymore. Then I see at level 24, I get a really interesting thing. This is very, very helpful, very crucial. Not only do the number of charges that one sabotage charge will provide, does that increases, but not only that, when I detonate them, see this, what happens is when you put a sabotage charge on someone, it goes off when you give them blaster damage, right? It restores energy. So this is actually making it cheaper to use in sequence with something else. And this becomes much more important as you begin to combine skills. Other things happen. The tooltip for incendiary grenade is the same here as it is in the hotbar, for instance, but you end up getting more benefits to it later. You'll find out here you get this passive called spacer, and one of the things that spacer does, incendiary grenade overwhelms the target, and this overwhelm debuff means that area of effect attacks, AoE attacks, cause 10% more damage to the enemy that is currently under the effect of the AoE attack of incendiary grenade. So this kind of tells you want to use any other AoE attack whenever possible after using incendiary grenade. It already begins to suggest a sequence of skills and a rotation, even a little bit. I have another thing here. I have this sabotage, it's called. Now, this will not be able to be used unless you hit an enemy with an attack known as shock charge. Now, shock charge slows down an enemy eventually. It doesn't tell you this here. There's another thing. It does damage over time, okay? And it sets up the ability to use sabotage. But there is a passive right here called sapping charge. You'll get this after you get the shock charge attack. It also slows the enemy by 30% for the duration. One of the things that incendiary charge does, incendiary grenade, excuse me, anyone within the area, any enemy within the area of effect of that AoE attack will be slowed for 70%. And all these things begin to add up. Furthermore, you find that if you use sabotage charge on an enemy that's affected by incendiary grenade, it stuns them for 2 seconds. So now, at first glance it appears, okay, you must use sabotage after shock charge. You only can. The game won't let you do anything like that. So it begins to enforce a rotation and sequence of skills there. However, don't use it immediately when it becomes available, because you can actually stun the target if you use shock charge. Then sabotage becomes active. You can use it, but don't do it yet. Hit them with incendiary grenade, and then when you use shock charge, it adds a 2-second stun to them. So now it begins to further refine somewhat of a rotation. It makes sense to do this. And then you get another benefit where you'll find another passive whereby using incendiary grenade, it will give you a free thermal grenade, which is AoE. And so don't use this without that buff if you don't have to, because then it'll cost energy without the buff. But also, incendiary grenade debuffs the enemy so that they take 10% more damage from the AoE of thermal grenades. So not only does thermal grenade become free, it does more damage. Also, sweeping blasters, which is a very good AoE ability, but very expensive. It pays to use it if you can after using incendiary grenade, because that in turn will do 10% more damage. I don't know where this is. Okay, the costs go down. I want to see where this is. Oh, there it is. Okay, seize the moment. After activating sabotage, that's what it is. It's sabotage. You will get a grenade, a thermal grenade that costs no energy. It sounded wrong to me. I knew something sounded wrong. I know how it works. My description, I knew it was off. So this begins to set up a sequence. And what I'll do now, I'm going to show a really crappy rotation, so to speak. I'm just going to burn through some energy, and I'm going to do what most people tend to do, because the tendency is extremely, it's very appealing. Just burn through attacks. Just do whatever the hell you can. My energy starts going down. These things can be very appealing to quick shot because it's a very quick ability. I mean, no activation time. But I'm already at that. I'm already like half energy, and I use an AoE attack. I got a lot of enemies. Right, my energy. Look how far my energy is down. Now I'm almost out of energy. Now I can't even use quick shot. All right. Now I'm down to using that. Now, so and my energy regen rate is really bad, really bad. So I'm going to recuperate here. And I'm going to show you the difference, and it might be a little hard to illustrate how much damage is being done, and very difficult to show all of the crowd control effects, but I'm going to do a lot of crowd control effects for my next rotation, because I'm going to have slows on the enemy. I'm going to have increased damage due to the debuff called Overwhelmed, and you saw how my energy went way down, and it's going to be very different this time. And I'm also going to take advantage of a utility right here, which also benefits me. It gives me 4 free quick shots after I exit cover. So the end result of this is going to be I'm going to have a rotation I can keep doing and never get low on energy, and it's going to be much higher damage, and it's going to put slows and debuffs on the enemy too, none of which I did before. I did less damage, and I really didn't do any crowd control. I didn't put really any good debuffs on the enemy. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to start out shock charge, but I'm not going to use sabotage yet. Now I'm going to use it because it would stun the enemy. Got a free grenade I can throw. Now I'm going to hit it with sabotage charge. Very high energy ability here for AoE, but look, my energy isn't going anywhere. Now that that's done, I'm going to get out of cover. I got 4 free quick shots here. Now back into cover, and I'm ready to go again. I can hit them with the shock charge, incendiary grenade, sabotage, Now I'm going to use Sabotage Charge for my AoE attack, and that's going to restore the enemy from the AoE attack. You can do a filler if you want to stand up. I got 4 free quick shots. I could do this forever. Back here, I'm ready to go again. I can hit him with that. Incendiary Grenade, Sabotage Charge. I can throw my grenade at him. Sabotage Charge is now off cooldown. I can use this again. I'm hardly ever going down in energy. I could do this for, endlessly. And I'm not running out of energy. I'm stunning the enemy. I'm putting debuffs so they take more damage. I'm slowing them down, actually doing much higher DPS. And that's the whole idea behind this. Every class has something like this. The Saboteur is maybe a little unique in that it has quite a lot of these things, quite a lot of passives and buff effects that you really depend upon. I will show another video showing how the Assassin tank and the Shadow tank work. They have defensive buffs and some damage buffs. And again, the abilities need to be sort of used in sequence, and or if not that, only after they receive a buff from another passive effect, a proc, sometimes they are referred to. One thing processes another. I hope that was apparent to you. I know that the damage is a little difficult to measure when I'm just sitting in this Warzone dummy you can't kill. But you can see that my energy did not go down. I hope you take my word for it that I actually did a whole lot more damage than when I just spammed skills because they looked high damage or they were off cooldown or they were quick to use. And I added lots of control effects, debuffs, and I hope you can believe me that it's much, much better at what I just did. And I should say that if you really want to tweak this more for hard mode flashpoints and hard mode operations, I'm sure it could be tweaked more. But this is a general idea. You saw how much more efficient, I believe you could see how much more efficient this was, and much more damaging, and protected me much more from keeping enemies getting near me, all that kind of stuff. So I hope you could gain some benefit from this, and I'll be back with some more later.